Some of that actually already. We have it very much involved. Why? What are you looking for?
No, it's good. I think it's so fucking good. Then just 46. What's next to the doors? Sure. No. Only six. He started forward. We started forward. I want to be order. No. Wait a second. What's your order number? The number of prayer. The three in the salt. The coffee. Twenty-seven. So he was in my clothes. Okay. Oh, yeah. I was good, like, come on, bro. Yeah. Yes, guys. I'll get and it's You want a drink? Yeah. We're here to go. I'll take that. 1456. Get it in the 4 high all the way and ready to stop drinking. It's just gonna make you do a tip selection at the time. One, two notes. Push up, five. Five, four. Thank you. Look on the next spot. Check it out, right? It's all. Robert. People first time. I'm the first. Taking fall at the fall. Oh, hey. Howdy, y'all. Oh, I feel that. Ooh, I should have gotten one. I literally just walked in there and like grabbed a handful of ketchup and ran. So now I gotta go back in there. Don't eat like it. You're gonna pee your candles. And that's the big activity I had. I thought you'd really get kick out. We pulled up and we were like, hello. Like covered in paint. I just had to like this. And I love how it. Hey, no skipping. She said 7 feet. How you been, Griffin? Pretty good. That's good. Bro, you didn't have to do that. They're expensive, aren't they? Like $3. Yeah. I'm good. I'll see you. Bro, thank you, Griffin. Yeah. Yeah, I'm working on the van. I'm about to trying to get this guy to blow up my van for me. He's like He's like on Instagram. He like blows shit up like 1 pound every day. Yeah, so I'm paying him on my van, trying to see if I can convince him to.
On the live?
1 pound of blowing up every day, you said?
Yeah,
Is he blowing up too, or what?
yeah, he blows shit up too. But I mean, that shit. Oh my god,
I didn't eat it.
that shit's expensive. So I'm sure he'd take 100 pounds for free.
You live streaming?
Yeah. Oh wait. Yeah. Thank you, Griffin.
Yeah.
He bought my stuff for me. I know. Yeah, you too. Y'all be safe. Oh. Since you've been gone, I can finally breathe for the first time. Fire. That is a wonderful idea. Look how fucking messy my room is, bro. It's so bad. I don't. Well, where do you even get these genius ideas? How do you come up with them? Who made you such a genius? Dave's Hot Chicken. Bro, it's so good. It is actually so fire. I love it. My roommate called it overrated, and I disagree. Strongly disagree. It's exactly what I was craving. Just a good old chicken sandwich. My Wi-Fi gets fixed tomorrow. Hell yeah, it looks good. Imagine imagine my ancestors looking down on me, just like holding up a fucking chicken sandwich, talking to myself. Just, I think they'd be proud of me. They would definitely think I'm insane. But I think they. Indeed, I do. Thanks, Khalil. My bad. Thanks, Khalil. I didn't even know. What type of prisoner would I be? I think I would be. I'd be like Uncle Iroh. Have you ever seen Avatar? Khalil? Hi, family.
Hi, family.
Just eating my chicken sandwich.
Just eating my chicken sandwich.
I hope you guys are having a good day. And yeah. Uh,
You can see that.
She herself understands that he's able to do that in many, many different industries. To innovate around regulation processes that other like trade by. I think in practice, it's very. I mean, look at the 600 serious. Say, that genius in the free markets, and you get someone that is effective. I can't remember just studying stuff is and he's not. And he's not scared. And he's not scared. Why be scared? It's free market. So you try to snap it out late say, but look right up. Are you happy to eat? So much while doing so little. There's like there is intelligence to what he's doing. If you look at his history, it's not striking of something I've worked to emulate. Can't deny that he's been perfectly successful with it a lot. He's done a lot of like really nobody else has. Question. Yeah, his accomplishments he didn't do. Most of these big record he didn't do. He didn't found to get his name on the letterhead. That's not true. He didn't find Tesla and found Tesla. He sued to get his name first. You're right, actually, he sued to get his name on the letterhead. Hard to agree, but he wasn't a founder. He placed it where he's been. He's figured out a way to get the general American public to think, oh my God, he wants something better. Let's go ahead and read over the history. I heard somebody say on average, and something I'm gonna hit people on my face. I don't know personally. See him speak on a lot of things. Vocabulary, and he clearly knows about they're working on something. And we're on single by genius and telling it's like you're something at the goal of December as a highest evaluation it ever was. Now down 6%. This is my present. Looking at special so we take the losses of as well since December months. That is more than the entire entity of Toyota, of BMW, of one see, that's not a genius. What's happened since December? Yeah, since like we've seen a big thing that's happened since December that could very much contribute to those drug prices. I.e., can be very involved in the current president's administration, as I think. But that's fair, unfair, and I said you guys are very well true. It is unprecedented how they I think that just saying that if you strong as well as good. Yeah, so speaking of that, I think that it's ultimately answer. Definitely super base or definitely over there. So yeah, top 10 states. And how you feel? Not something that maybe it's just that she get this thing. Like you should build a bunch of I think all the it's about and also so the changes are has this one weird see police driving cars year after year in the past decade they haven't delivered on that. Investors are trying to notice you like they function. And that's something that is important when you are that you keep don't worry guys. We should be working 4 years. Guarantee that. Yeah, people are using the genius that you keep administration. You can also look at it. It's up. Self-sacrifice for things that he actually cares about. He's doing all this ultimately because he wants to be primary station state level stuff. What kind of person does this to their companies just for the project? Say somebody who actually has a higher vein Lucky and lots of it. It's not the fact that we're initial executive. It's not yourself. It's not the story. Every stock is not the stuff. It's not. It's like it's like check up. No, it's not. It's not. I know it's not very sensitive. They're all that. They're not. But like everything you should do is like great theory and history, and then history is all by the few it's a few great men. Elon is this revolutionary innovator, and you specifically talk about it. Like sure, these people have those history has played out among these companies are because of the workers, because of engineers, because of the scientists who are not right. As much as you want to make those people be able to function. Yeah, I mean, I just think the shooter genius, like he's a risk taker. He has a very grandiose sense of self-importance, which sometimes can amount to good things if you got a lot of capital to work with. Tesla, sure, he helped them like vertically integrate their supply chains, and that was good for Tesla. So he's above average when it comes to capital allocation, but part of being a king, you should be on your limitations. Yeah, yeah, but notice in this conversation right now, on him, we were talking about being a owner of a company. There is a definition, and then there's a connotation. You are very high. But now we're talking about, but now we're talking about what it means to be a genius, and the definition I think that the definition of what it's about, whether your names are in the organization, whether you were on the initial larger company, but then whether you had the initial that's very separate than what it means to be a genius. We can agree that maybe Elon Musk is very good at investing money. He's very good at finding engineers for his projects. We've seen that throughout all of his companies. There's no doubt about that. That he might have some intelligence, although even throughout school, his praise for just like they prefer other people would actually assign that to genius too, and immensely Albert Einstein. But to say that he's somehow so far ahead of the curve, historical example, invention of the printing press. There were at least 3 or 4 5 people on Sierra who were simultaneously looking at it. I had no idea that each other were doing it. Electric printed Jetsons. It was not an issue. That's about investing in Tesla. That is not about selecting engineers to design an electric the electric car. That's a for Tesla is the shit of the chart. He designed nothing is every year they have the better than hey, let's make a self-driving car the academy. No steering wheel. And he wants that everything guys. Yeah, they not launching it cost him right now. That's what he's been saying. And they're literally launching right now. He said, don't know what they're actually going to come from. Objectively, Elon Musk is great at making himself a lot of money. Before we go any further, I want to say thanks so much to Straight Reviews. How we fact checks get this Straight Reviews on mission to raise the bar for bias and distrust. Straight Reviews helps you quickly find trusted information you need to understand things, allowing you to continue the values that matter you and the work around you. You're much more better than user first. Go to SAN.com/Straight Reviews. Now, let's get into it. The next prompt is first under us. Right. These agreeers are so excited. Invite you over here already so excited to talk. Usually go first. The reason it's worse now is now besides the as much as I want to not be. It is a tool for on my side as a conservative. It isn't talking process. This is not freedom of speech here. I find that it's not social media. It's time for us to connect to culture. To like clean up and yes, you might have some like wanted to do it. But I think for me, it is you can't talk about X. See that thing, say X. I think you can't talk about it without it being just a social media. That's the whole that, that's why I personally would consider I would care his name as much as that like his mind because I don't know something there when you ever fly that amount of just spamming anti-Semitic and racist and sexist like just read up the slur from Twitter. Sure, there might have been some issue with the algorithm. But at this point, it's like such a free for all. The traffic we see is even real people, and at that point, it's like I'm not sure we amplifying certain movements. Never understood, especially since fire like should do some bigotry on my Twitter time. I just don't put the letters straight out. I just see a lot of stuff on Twitter. I just don't see it much on else. It's to the point that there's a last person that's the access guy worse. I think that his acquisition legally there's how much you try and pass the money around and everyday people. There's a huge problem with what you do. Process and building out a check marks, making that populist and taking away any sort of discrimination between who is a verified important individual person. Has not been of ideas and which is what that was a place where news growth, discussion was driven at the highest level. And now every time you talk to a person, you're talking to some guy in Bob's basement. It's ridiculous. That's enough. I'm not a Lily Phillips fiasco was personally really funny to me, but I'm an investor in advertisement. I probably don't want that's in infrastructure that's helped me disintegrate the profiles of future suitable for other corporations. So again, I think it's just really interesting to see that we talk about Second Amendment being written for a time when weaponry was at a certain level, and discussion about like machine gun is right here, or somebody have it in their house. Most people probably say moderation with exceptions to some of them. But I think that like X in particular is like it's interesting to see is this a new weaponry of like freedom of speech because someone like Elon to me I want security to take like a private and completely take stock or invest in Tesla and not so to the SEC and demand to have the $8 million each. Like this is especially when you such a I think it's worth having a conversation of does everybody need to see everything that's everybody on it without my I bigger than sort of this of free speech and sort of the previous regime of this idea that there are also certain things to certain stories here wasn't being suppressed in some sort of weird way. And to me it's more scary here speech and not the fact that Twitter might just be populist out there right now. Anybody can say to file their speech. I would take that status quo where you're starting to see that people still have that right now. And one of it is a called just like block Twitter to like shut down their account, suspended their account, being amplified people he agrees with. There was this one guy that was like tracking the movements of his jet, which is like public information, keeps shut down his account. So like it's interesting where it's like when the shoe's on the other foot, a lot of these speech principles kind of just disappear. And he's doing a lot of the same things he complained about initially. So I don't really see it as being better even on that one. I think basically everybody's got like more. Now let's bring in the disagreeers who have been itching this on the problem is 10 billion things at once. Again, so gotta make everybody inside is conservative. I never voted for I played 4 times in the White House position. So keep that in mind. They both like so the only way somewhat but it's what is the ALC and spot rankings and have pretty singers like the issue with talking about like disproportionate enforcement on something like Twitter is like, for example, the 2020 election. If one side is disproportionately lying and saying the election was stolen, and then you say, why is Twitter cracking down on the right?
maybe because those people were like telling more lies. TOS. Well, TOS exists, right? It's a private company, and if they don't want like complete disinformation being spewed out, then that's their right to
Side
protect.
by side.
Exactly.
Now it's where
That's right.
we have community, right? Which is essentially getting the entire community. You have to agree. Both sides have to agree upon a note for it to get posted. That regulates content, so it's not just one side.
Like that's what I don't think I've seen.
Allows
I saw it from
to be honest to attack him and say, yeah, absolutely. And to be clear, there is he shouldn't have a fire evident content moderation. It's not fair for him to remove journalists from the platform, for example. Like I think that is something for he absolutely would. But
get free to example. First of all, she was expelled from the Jedi Order. However, Anakin's help was able to expose the truth in her sovereignty. So as a result, the Jedi realized they were wrong. From there, they then offered her to return back as a Jedi, but she declined, forcing her and Anakin to go their own separate ways. But when things were different, when it so never left the Jedi Order and stayed, how different the things have been as she danced against the Jedi. All of this ultimate timeline, that's exactly what we time begins. So let's get right into it. Our story begins just moments after Ahsoka declared the Jedi Council software and returned back as a Jedi. All of it was always her dream to be a Jedi. She realized how much they changed over the years. Supposed to see Jedi Order, she danced as a Jedi. She just couldn't stay. She had to find her own. So she set out to do just that. As she looked outside, she made her way out. Anakin rushed out. She couldn't leave. He just didn't let that there. So he went right up to her. Story is different. As Anakin tried to understand what she didn't understand as a Jedi, he then said, I understand to walk away from the Order. I know. However, some things said, letting us walk away as he originally said. This time, Anakin's so good. Anything else happens, I'll be the first to walk with you. I know the Jedi have lost their way over the years. I need you more than you know. You need me here. What are you talking about? I was never going to tell you this actually. Is it Anakin? Anakin? If there was ever a time to tell me something. Together. Well, we all knew that. Everyone did. But I'm very happy for you both. You and her are some of my closest friends. And you both deserve an amazing life together. Now, if you'll excuse me, Anakin, I have to leave. I'm not. There's a reason why I told you that. As you can imagine, it's been hard keeping the relationship a secret. I wouldn't really call it a secret. Yes, you get my point. Anyway, we can't do this for much longer. Eventually, we'll have to come clean with the council. Padme and I re-talked about one day maybe starting a family together. If that day comes, I don't even stay a Jedi. We talked about maybe starting a family back on Naboo. Now, the only issue is we can't do that right now. So good, the galaxy is a dangerous place. So I'm back to making full 3 armor. Now experimenting with manipulated lattice structures, which are very. I'm seeing if just a 1-inch by 1-inch cube can stop me. We look at a solid cube because it didn't stop the round. I left it and left it in place. Now to look at the actual cube, you can see there was a percent of random pattern. Much of this cube was undisturbed. It actually distributed that throughout this structure because there's no. Now, if we look at a manipulated structure, which is molecular structures which are capable of distributing their force not only downwards, but backwards. Now, this is an example of a biostructure that did very well. Around didn't actually spread the force anywhere. Much ineffective, and again, my biostructure that I found best. So, it's a structure that's very similar to my selector bridges, and that would actually they destroy that. That's great. The next guys for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Now, separates from sure. Yes, that is so. Same question based on what it has better archival sense. Instructing those buildings, kind of stuff that they can see. It's a big country devoted to this. Where this spice very strikes perhaps. Yeah. Transcend this. That I don't. Is the story of just like shit. The story of the men. It's actually raised. Is the shape wave of center. Just to this building. Studios looking on at 91,000 people inside Beijing's National Stadium. Lights darken. The China of the 21st century has not been a country to shy away from statements. Because they've been shy in buildings. In just a few decades, China built more than these times the first skyscrapers that Americans wanted in a century. Today, the country has well over 3,300 skyscrapers that are 100 meters tall. The United States is just in the fragments of the 10 cities the world rich. So, doesn't China well, they very nearly detected it. Sorry, that story we have to take you back into all the megacities and the 3,000 skyscrapers back to when China was a very different place. Two things evidence the Americans to up in 3 years and China's began to boom. In the US, it was cool. In a single day, Dow Jones dropped 22% and $7 trillion was lost. It's focus on construction began on the Jin-Bao building, the first of these supertons. The TV tower also topped off. It was Shanghai on the verge of as we know it today. KBF, a major American arms studio. Like many Americans at this time, he looks to Asia. Was working with Japanese real estate tycoon. As part of the world, backstage about his business. He was during all of that time. We started this relationship was it's fascinating work and pretty skyscraper experts. The Jim Bowden thing is just to watch the work of the work as to build his own skyscraper. Gave an idea of what Chinese suits were designed by Adrian Smith, another American architect in Shanghai, and it was modeled after Chinese buildings. That's wanted his tower to be different. Architecture at this time was a bit of a wave. Postmodernism of the 80s added to a style now. Futurism. Postmodernism was about seeing other styles and playful. It was a reaction against the minimalism that came about in the mid-century. It was eclectic now. Futurism, it could be said, was itself a reaction against postmodernism. This style was more aesthetic, clean lines and surfaces. It was optimistic and looked to the future. The drawing board has broken down the skyscraper into its basic fundamentals. What does a skyscraper essentially do? It's there in the name. Existence sky. And the other was a symbol of the sky. So it was a circular disc, flat, a central hole. And the juxtaposition between the two represented a juxtaposition we can illustrate architecture in terms of likeness versus later. Madison put these two forms together. The square prism that represents Earth and the disc that represents the heavens, and that gave him the shape for his skyscraper. The circle seemed like the obvious solution. It was aesthetically pleasing and referenced not only the ancient Chinese symbol for the heavens, but the moon gate as well, the common elements in Chinese gardens. Now, the void also served another function. It would trigger the wind and allow it to pass through the skyscraper, making the building more stable during strong storms. Building has its specific the upper floors are exactly perpendicular as the ceiling. It's intended to be the negative. The circle really was, by all accounts, perfect. The plans were submitted in 1993, and the review process was now, the fact straight is really important to me, especially when it comes to grappling with the history of such an influential skyscraper. To know everything, the good, the bad, and the controversial is circular. These days, it's pretty easy to go up and just hearing one side of the story, which is like using straight narrow news. Many people don't realise that the typical news algorithms don't always give us the full story. Half the time, you can read two articles on the same topic and they'll come away to understand the situation. Whereas on straight narrow news, I know I'm just getting the facts, so I can then make up my own mind. There's no spin here, it's just clarity. One of the standout things of straight narrow news for me, and my pretty much favourite feature, is the This tool, which shows you which stories are being underreported by different sides of this perspective, so you can make sure you're definitely getting the full picture. If, like me, you want to stay informed without the noise, then download the Straight Arrow News app today. It massively helps us out when you guys take the time to go and check out our video sponsors. So please do that. Straight Arrow News is a great platform. I use it all the time, and it really is worth checking out. Okay, time to head back to Shanghai. Once the plans for the building were submitted, it began a review process. 14 professors of architecture were given just 30 minutes each to respond to the design. They would give their responses in Chinese. These responses would be translated to Japanese, finally translated to English.
Bro, I'm so tired.
Bro, I'm so tired.
I'll never forget that meeting. Showing his badge. Showing his going to everybody.
I don't think it's foundations were driven into the ground. And in 1995, it was. Then came 1997.
Like I literally cannot keep my eyes open.
China and these other places were taking off, but they then also suffered during recession.
Bro, so Monday. So bitch. Monday, I'm going to Charlotte, and then I'm going to Hilton Head. And then I'm going camping. Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to fix.
I need to fix.
That's why I need to
That's
fix
why
my Wi-Fi.
I need to fix my
Because
Wi-Fi.
this thing keeps on happening with the stream where it says reconnecting.
It says reconnecting.
Like it randomly will just shut off. Like yesterday, I probably wasn't even live for like a few hours. And I didn't even know it. So AT&T is coming tomorrow. Let's see. And then hopefully my iPhone comes in. And then we'll be Sigma. We'll be Sigma. Skibbity.
You've
You've never been camping? Bro, you gotta go camping. You have to go camping. It's so fun. Well, it's overrated. But it's fun. If you go with your friends, it's fun. I'm gonna go when they leave. What the fuck is a bliss
This is a
wolf?
bliss wolf.
What the hell is a bliss wolf? What are you talking about? Hold on, let me look it up.
Is that a
Is that a
Pokemon?
Pokemon?
Bro,
it sounds like you're talking about fanfic.
What?
It's a dry county? No. It sounds like you're talking about like a romance novel. Because I looked up Bliss Wolf and I'm getting a bunch of weird shit.
A bunch of weird shit.
Ah, you can't see it. And I don't feel like giving up.
Getting up.
Yeah, no alcohol. But Dry County's crazy.
Dry County's crazy.
The place we're camping
The place we're
is
camping
a dry county.
is a dry county.
Oh.
Oh.
And I spelled Bliss
And
Wolf
I spelled
wrong.
Bliss Wolf wrong.
Holy shit.
Holy sh-
Never played Far Cry. And Skyfall, when it crumbles, and together. That's sick.
That
sounds like so much fun. I really want to open my package. You know? I think I want to open my package. Should I open it? Oh, shit. Alright. I'm gonna open it. Oh, I'm so excited! Okay. No, I can't open it. I can't open it. I can't open it.
I can't open it.
I just want to take a peek.
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 Alright, fine. Fine.
Fine.
I have to clean up first, because I have to record it. This is a big moment. This is a big moment, Khalil. Yeah, it's for the Yoshi bike. I also have to.
Yoshi bike.
I also have to take a shit. I'm not gonna lie. Hold on, I have to take a shit first. I can't even think of anything. Bro, you never had Dave's Hot Chicken and you've never been camping. You need to get out more. Coolio. Back in my day, we didn't have all these gadgets and doodads. No, sir. No, sir. All we had was a bunch.
Was a bunch of farts.
Later, that was where it began to see, and there was a hiatus in construction last until the 2000s that affected the Shanghai Financial Center.
When work slightly resumed
Towards the end of 2001,
the world was very different.
difference.
The
The
Patronus
Patronus
Towers had completed and taken the
taken
crown
to this building.
on the
Next to this building, Taipei 101 had also started the race to west was no longer between east and west, but now further in Asia.
and other world events had also made skyscrapers more important symbols.
Of course, the resumption of work on Shanghai Financial Center came after 2001, that is 9/11, and the enormous tragedy of the
Destruction of Trade Center Tower and the loss of those lives. Then thought months after that event that there would be no more skyscrapers. That was widely predicted around the world. But meanwhile, the global march or ascent of skyscrapers continued, and there was practically skyscrapers was the necessity for a major city, and the tragedy could still by construction.
But the public
Was paying even closer attention to that.
9/11 changed the entire building code in China, and the introduction of refuge
All the changes came to the Shanghai World Financial Center. It was to be even taller, 32 meters taller than the original intended. There was just one problem. Foundations had been laid to the roof heights this new higher building.
based on the bearing capacity of the piles that had been driven. Yet Mr. Boyd wanted to increase the lateral width of the tower and wanted to increase the height of the tower by 40 meters.
the engineer who was entrusted with the new design
Was Leslie Robertson, who was the structural engineer for the Trade Center, and Les Robertson was a dear friend and a brilliant engineer, came up with a solution that was able to answer the briefing of the client. The height at which the building could be extended, but it would be decreasing the overall weight of the skyscraper by 10%, so they could still use the existing foundations. To reduce the weight, the structural system holding up was reinforced. Riverson replaced it with a diagonal braced frame with added boundary trusses. The strength of these frames allowed them to reduce the thickness of the frames. This is where the buildings lists, stairwells, and utilities. They could also then decrease the weight of the structural steel in the process. Now, this actually works out pretty well. It made the construction process cheaper and faster. Pedersen was able to break the outrigger trusses into the earth. The new structural elements also meant there were less coolant its footprints, allowing for uninterrupted and unparalleled views of Shanghai. With this, work continued, but the city was keeping close watch. Soon, Pedersen and his team had to contend with one more pretty big problem: public outrage. Japanese developers markets in
Cultural sensitivity is very
The Chinese public had turned against the tower. They saw the circular void as a Japanese flag planted on the Shanghai skyline by a Japanese developer. It was only a few decades ago that the Japanese had occupied Shanghai and much of China during World War II.
Mr. Morning called me, wanted me to come over for a recording meeting. Joking with the deputy there in Canada. And we had this meeting, and explained the deputy there, explained this was an anniversary of the Second World War. There's great sensitivity in China at the time. So could you please do something?
Edison tried at first to save his design by adding a bridge that would disrupt the circle and make it look less like a Japanese flag. But that wasn't enough to appease the Chinese public.
You know, the internet started to take hold at that time. And the momentum of this was too great, and so we were asked to reshape the form of it. I can certainly understand why. It's nothing that's so symbolic. The symbol is a right for people that is not doing our job.
New plans were submitted in 2005, making the circle a square.
In every skyscraper, there always are conflicting factors of business, imagery, and narrative, and promotion. It's just as important to confusing the width and the various engineering values. Open space also had an economic rationale by making the number of floor heights for the hotel that was in the top had an expanded footprint itself. So there were many reasons that came together in order to make that a logical solution.
The building finished at long last in 2008. It eclipsed the Petronas Towers, but could not be the spire that topped Taipei 101, the new tallest building in the world that it completed in 2004. It was still the tallest building in the world by roof height and by occupiable floor, but not by overall height.
Now we can design two spires and going out from both edges of the building and going up that's kind of what we've done. And we asked you, Mr. Morton was very much interested in having an elegant building. I had the world, I showed you the world's tallest building, really what it really was talking about. I didn't know maybe yet this thing would be a very temporary objective.
Even if the moniker of the world's tallest building was incidental to the plans of the developer in the end, the time rate of the title in the late 90s and through the early 2000s shows just how massive the boom skyscraper construction really was. A city capable of building such a structure is rare, and to have several ones competing is even rarer. It meant this time saw incredible leaps in engineering and technology. But Murray was right. All the title being temporary. Just a year later, the Burj Khalifa would replace this incredible 2 meter spire topping off, making it one of the world's building. Shanghai continued to grow. It's now home to 24 and 124 skyscrapers. It's a far cry from the city that Edison first visited in the early 1990s. Shanghai Tower now rises even higher next to both the Jim Mao building and the financial.
The Shanghai Tower has a lot of space and it's really funny. I think this building was probably designed more to show people. I can't accept that point.
The Chinese government has since introduced a ban on skyscrapers. Small cities are now limited to a height of 250 metres, though they can put higher than that in special circumstances. The larger cities are limited to a height of 500 metres, but again, only in special circumstances. At the moment, China could have the world's tallest building as passed, at least for now. The Shanghai World Financial Centre says the skyline has a good condition. It's been embraced by the people of the city and is even nicknamed the bottom open of the village.
I hope its legacy is that what you intended to connect it, and it's your job. I hope people see it, understand why it's designed as it is designed. Very interested in this building, it's their favorite, my favorite.
This video was sponsored by Straight Arrow News. You can learn more about that at the link below. Don't forget that we're inspiring the next generation of builders through our investment into Brickable, a fantastic Lego subscription service. You can get started today over at Brickable. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed this video and you want to get the definitive video channel for instruction, make sure you subscribe to the video. Motion precision 50 guide. Yes, in fact, there was an unprecedented attack. They don't pay us money for the protection data.
I'm standing on a giant map at CNA, getting ready to play a game about Taiwan and delicate pieces to the fragile. Today I'll be assuming the role of leader of China. I am and Sam, the creator of our channel Search Party, is playing the leader of the United States. I, China, have just invaded Taiwan, and I have troops there. It's been 90 days. And now Sam has to decide whether to respond and how. What's going on here? Surrounded by experts in all kinds of fields having to do with and ran an organization that does research and analysis for the US military. ICE. Playing on a giant game board. Why do we need to play games about work? Games are a very cheap way to get better at decisions. And then militaries spend millions of dollars on designing and playing war games. And I came here to understand why. Here's the US military hanging out in marching battles before they happened. The Vietnam War, the Iraq. And lately, they've been gaming out what might happen if China invades Taiwan. That's what we're doing today. Now, this always struck me as odd that we play games for war. So I asked CNA if I could come to one for myself to see what I could learn. So let's see how this face-off goes, using this giant map. In the process, we'll learn why militaries play games. So here's how it works. The game designers have created a scenario where I, China, have invaded Taiwan for 90 days. It's all around in Taiwan. And all these blocks represent the weapons, the vessels, and troops that I have in my theater. The game designers have given Sam and me specific objectives that reflect real-world objectives in a conflict like this. That's about it. It's now on us to make decisions as if we were the leaders of our respective sides. See how the other side reacts. Sam is consulting with his advisors on the first move. I start thinking about the countries in this region. How do I use this moment to undermine confidence in the U.S., to make the U.S. look less trustworthy? Right away, I'm feeling like I have the upper hand here. I've captured Taiwan, and now all I need to do is keep the U.S. military and its allies away. One may get really costly for the U.S., where any calculation comes with a very high cost to American citizens. We've just begun this game, and I'm already surprised at how into this I'm getting. I can feel Sam's anger that I invaded Taiwan. I worry that he will respond and escalate this conflict, so I start working on a plan to make it difficult and costly for him to respond. We're keeping him out here. We head to the map to start looking at options. I toy around with creating a blockade around the island. We have the advantage of proximity and speed to set up a wall that says this is going to be costly. This is where I start thinking about the U.S.'s presence in the region, especially in Japan and Korea. It's a huge presence here. If this is a vulnerability, I think the scariest thing is just across the street is probably where they're going to focus in. And it's like, can I stop that? So I'm trying to think of these contingencies, what they might do. Okay, I'm about to take my turn, but plus to think today's sponsor, Incogni, for sponsoring today's video. All of our personal information is really valuable. And companies buy and sell it so that they can target us for a variety of things. Advertisements, insurance premiums, there's an entire economy of data numbers that use your name, your address, your phone number, your email, and your demographics, and your browsing habits to try to make money. It's the major reason calls and junk mail are so pervasive, but it also leads us to identity theft. Luckily, we are protected by the law. You have a right to privacy. You can request to be taken off these lists. There are hundreds of these lists, and it's not easy to be taken off all of them. Cogni does this for you. Jennifer Cogni gives them permission to act on your behalf to go make the request to take you off these lists, and they do that. They do the hard work of restoring your privacy. And my favorite part is you get to check in on it. They've got this dashboard. So today, they've taken me off of 650 lists. They've successfully taken me off of 533 of those lists, and they estimate almost 4 hours. They're giving 60% off to all of you. If you use link in my description to Cogni.com/Johnny Machine, 60% off the yearly plan. Thanks to Cogni for sponsoring today's video. I know all of you are excited to get back to the Giant map to see what I can make in the South China Sea. Let's do it. Now, I've studied the geopolitics of this region extensively. I feel myself looking at this region in a whole. So my plan is to beef up my naval presence around Taiwan. So moving my troops into the island. If the Sam doesn't attack, I think we have a plan here. And it's all wait to see what Blue does. Over on Team Blue, Sam seems to be contemplating punishing me, not with a direct strike, but by targeting my natural resources. I think oil. It's probably okay. We've done our planning. It's time for us to both make our moves. So both of you have 2 operations prioritized, ready to go. What we are interested in is consolidating our control over this island and signaling to the rest of the region and to anyone else who might be involved that we're really serious about defending. And so we are going to move some of these naval assets to surround the island. As I make my move, the surreal experience of feeling like the leader of China continues to grow. We are not here to kick anyone out or to invade other places. We're simply here to realize our region as the leader of the region. And this is our way of demonstrating that. And we hope it does not escalate into anything more than anything stupid. Okay, here comes the response from the U.S.
China did active aggression. We're basically to show them the ramifications of that. We would like to choke their natural resources from the Indian Ocean.
The U.S. military is stopping ships that are bringing oil to China. This is their punishment for my invasion of Taiwan. And this is what I realize. That what matters here is just how I respond to this, but what narrative I tell the rest of the world that gets them on my side. Storytelling is so important in a moment like this. There's no international legal basis for this behavior. The U.S. is a lawless and regrettable state that bullies its adversaries.
What we're trying to do here is to show them that they've made an error and that we have multiple ways to punish them.
I'm kind of riffing here, but soon I find my narrative. I start to hit it hard. We are messaging to the world that this kind of behavior of bullying our commercial ships or our energy resources is threatening the whole global economy. I decide to move some of these ships over to this important choke into the global economy in the Suez Canal. Djibouti, where China has a base from which I can monitor the flow of goods and resources to my region.
We will move a ship over to Djibouti. It's not intervening in any way. It's just here in case things get a little more. I'm particularly interested in what do the countries also in the South China Sea and in East Asia feel. That China is expansionist and they much prefer the U.S. to continue to be the one releasing free trade in this area than have China suddenly play that way.
We roll the dice to determine how other countries in the region are reacting to all of this. The tie means that we adopt the assumption that the neighboring countries are split. The game adjudicator is kind of a referee, helps move things along in a realistic way. There's an active debate in the Southeast Asia region is the right guarantor of literacy. Tensions are rising here as we go back to our advisors to plot the next move. And while we do that, let me briefly get you up to speed. Why we're doing this in the first place. Turns out that playing games about war has been around for a while. As long as there's been and solid maps, military leaders have wanted to try to simulate how it can play out before it happens.
We've been playing games about war for thousands of years, and it's not about the game. It's about having an opportunity to think about things outside of actually having to do it. But it wasn't until the early 1800s that gaming became formalized, a serious tool for training and planning, real assumptions, real constraints, real game mechanics that at least some aspects of real. These Prussian dudes are not playing Risk. They're getting ready for it. There's a lot going on here, but the main point of these games is to present decision makers with scenarios that force them to grapple with the hard decisions of war. World War II saw extensive gaming, so much so that one admiral later said that they had carried out so many different scenarios of how the conflict with Japan could go that, quote, nothing that happened during the war was a surprise. Absolutely nothing, except the kamikaze tactics towards the end of the war. We had not visualized those war games in practice. With time, these war games turned into huge productions involving hundreds or even thousands of participants. They moved on to fancy computer simulations that made it feel more and more real, precise. Some of the games were there to help plan for what might happen in war, but many other games were there to help the skills of different officers, to train them. Now, the conflict is taking a new turn. Sam has sent a secret operation of American soldiers to covertly sabotage the bomb planes that I had sent to Djibouti. This will require maintenance and reduce their use in this region. He's also moving a bunch of military assets into this region. I don't like it. We're stepping up our Navy military assets, but out of range of China's defenses. Yes. So, we have more control of Taiwan. We've built this big blockade around the island. They are sabotaging our natural resources, and we, China, are using this as a way to amplify to the world that the U.S. is a lawless only is sabotaging us. We're just doing what we're entitled to do. So it's a pretty good for New York City today, and not the big rant for the U.S.
I'm still feeling really good about all of this. That is, until Sam makes his next move. Looks like the U.S. is going to escalate here by taking some of their ships through the Taiwan Strait. That they're defending escalatory move. Sam's company and Filipino. This is not good. I go from feeling great to worried on how I'm going to respond. We can't let them do this because it completely shatters our whole narrative and our messaging. This FAN operation is coming from Japan. It is escorting humanitarian aid to Taiwan. It's been 100. It's humanitarian. I think we have to draw the red line and say, if you don't turn back, we are going to sink something. We're not bluffing, and I want to show that. If your humanitarian ship is coming escorted by military vessels, that will be an aggressive move that we will respond to. We don't recognize your zone. We anyone coming into this water for any reason with military vessels is considered with hostile intent and will be treated as such, and we're not bluffing. Our next moment of action is you're approaching this line of folks. Bring out a line of ships to physically stop the movement. I mean, we'll continue to try and avoid, but we're navigating past. Chinese vessel that's got a very good ram to stern. This is a hostile act and very aggressive, and we are making plans to respond. And we ask you to turn around immediately, or you will face the consequences of this invasive act that we have very clearly signaled to you is not okay. Sam is trying to call my bluff, and I really don't want it to work. In being the leader of is sinking. The USAG has fired back. There's a big flaming ship that is clearly in the process of sinking in the middle of the strait. Lots of cameras going onto the national newscasts showing these sinking ships. A shooting war has begun. Acts quickly and retaliates. Indian Ocean. They're about to have an engagement unprecedented in modern history. Yeah. The question becomes, what results from this? Right? Is there enough U.S. force to be able to defeat this? If you're trying to do it, absolutely. My heart is actually beating faster. At this point, we're a couple hours into this, and I find myself having forgotten that I am indeed not Xi Jinping, Virginia. And this is where I really start to understand the value of all of this. This kind of role-playing against a real human opponent in real-world scenario forces you into a totally different mental experience than reading about it, learning about it, watching movies about it. Totally different, which is the whole point. And what I've shown you here is nearly plain calculation. Couldn't have come in any learning. The red team, red capability. The
Targeting this issue.
Okay, so we play games about war to prepare for war. Some simple and physical that can be done in a day, some digital, built off software that take weeks. But what do we do with the results?
What a war game allows you to do is a very flexible approach to try to explore that and then set up things to go and analyze and things to go and test and do.
The U.S. would have Vietnam. When they tested gradually bombing North Vietnam with air attacks, the conflict only escalated in the game, creating a prolonged conflict. In the game, the American public came out in opposition of this attack, and the communists gained support in the north. This all happened before the invasion, but the results were largely ignored. When we ended up of what the U.S. They gamed out what it would look like to handle infighting in Iraq. Their own Saddam state. But a few years later, there was a new president in the White House. Just attacked by terrorists based in Iraq. Be applied. The U.S. side immediately lost. So I'm walking away from this with a much deeper understanding of